Go.
Hi there, my name is Nicholas. I'll be your student nurse today. We're going to do a postpartum assessment. Is that okay? She says okay. All right. Wash my hands here. But before we do that, we're going to assess some vitals, okay? Alrighty. So we're just going to get your blood pressure here. So go ahead and get the blood pressure. So pump it up. And let's say it's at 120/80. Then check your temp. Temp's good. Okay. Check your pulses here. Pulses are good. All right, are we in any pain today? No? Okay. Let me listen to your breath sounds here. Okay, I'm also going to listen to your heart sound as well. Okay, I'm going to have you sit up here and I'm going to listen to your back breath sounds as well. And then I'll also make sure to look at her respirations and count those as well. All right, so once we got all these vitals done, we're going to start the postpartum assessment, okay? All right, so the first thing we're going to do is check your breasts. So how I'm going to be doing that is just touching around in a circular motion of your breasts. Is that okay if I do that? Yes? Okay. Here. So things that I'd be looking for, any lumps, any firm, hard things, looking at her nipples just to see if they're intact, any bleeding, cracked, and are there any warm spots at all if you ever done your breast and kind of felt? No? Okay, and I don't feel any warm spots either. So making sure to do both. The next thing we're going to assess is your GI, okay? So I'm just going to listen to your bowel sounds. Making sure to do them all 4 quadrants. Okay, and they sound good. And have you been passing any gas at all? And when was your last bowel movement? Okay. Reason why I asked that is because we want to make sure that you're not constipated, because that's a thing that can happen postpartum. So we want to make sure that we're going to the bathroom as much as we can. All right, the next thing I'm going to check is your uterus. So how I'm going to do that is a 2-hand technique. I'm going to place one hand kind of by where your pelvis is at and then feel for the top of your uterus, which is called the fundus. So that. And then just kind of feel around. What I'll be looking for is how far up or down it is and compared to the belly button. So either 2 fingers, 1 finger above, 2 fingers down, 1 finger down, etc. I'm also feeling for if the fundus is midline. It feels midline. And And I'm also checking to see how firm the top of her fundus is. One thing that I would like to let you know, if you experience a lot of bleeding, massaging the fundus on the top here, just like the two-hand technique up here, can help with the bleeding. So a not firm fundus will be prone to more bleeding. Okay. All right. Next, I'm going to check is ear pad. So checking for bleeding and that kind of a thing. So I'm going to get some gloves on here. Glove, and then we'll check. So checking her pad. I do see some rhubarb. I don't smell any foul odor. And another teaching thing I can do is tell her about, so in order to check for the amount you're bleeding, we usually check for an hour. So an hour is the time that we use for the amount of bleeding and that kind of a thing. Also, another thing as well is that, let's say your bleeding has decreased and it no longer looks, bright red and that kind of a thing, and let's say you do some activity and that kind of thing starts turning bright red, that just means that you've done too much. You need to rest and relax. Okay. All right. So, and also with the assistant, I've been checking for blood clots, see if there's any blood clots. Another teaching point as well is if your pad gets completely red in an hour, you may be hemorrhaging, and we need to do some action with that. Okay. All right. One thing I need to ask is, how often are you urinating? Very frequently? Okay, that's good. Is there any pain with that urination at all? No? Okay. All right, so I'm gonna check her backside now. So we're just gonna roll over here. So with her backside, I'm gonna check to see if there's an epidural, which there was. It looks red. There doesn't appear to be any edema. It looks well approximated. There doesn't look to be any drainage at all. And then also, I'm going to be checking perineum area. So again, there is no redness, no bruising, no edema, no drainage, and it appears to be approximated. Okay. So next thing I'm going to assess is your legs. So what I'm going to be assessing for that is for DVTs. So any redness, unilateral swelling, if there's any pain in the calf, these are all things that can be associated with DVTs. Now, if she had a C-section, one thing that I would assess is her incision. So I would check to see if there was any signs of infection in that incision, how the dressing is, and if there's any pain with that. I would also check to see her IV site, and I can actually educate her on an IV site. So I'm looking for any redness, swelling, anything along those lines with that. And that is the completion of my postpartum assessment.